Hello, and welcome to a look at Batman, also known as the movie, for the Commodore 64. A game that was made, released, and all sorts of other good stuff by Ocean Software, and of course is a tie-in to the Batman film of 1989. Ocean had quite a reputation for crappy movie tie-in games. They used to have a reputation for crappy arcade conversions, but then they set up the label Imagine, which took all the flack away from the Ocean name, basically. But with that in mind, of course, there was a certain apprehension about what quality this game could possibly have. It is worth mentioning that the film Batman, of course, was quite an event, and it more or less single-handedly reinvigorated the interest in superheroes in general and Batman specifically. And in that regard, I would say that this game probably helped in that regard. Tim Burton's Batman was getting a bit of flack for not being overly child-friendly, but I think that Tim Burton saw Batman as a more mature character, and I also think it was a deliberate nod to a more mature audience, saying that superheroes doesn't have to be for children. Adults can enjoy superheroes as well. And in all honesty, I think of all variations I've seen of Batman over the years, I think Tim Burton's version of Batman is my preferred. Because he is not a homicidal maniac, but at the same time, if the bad guys are stupid enough to shoot at him and he has to throw something at them that knocks them into a vat of acid, well, that's sort of their own fault, isn't it? The technical aspect of the game will change slightly from level to level, so let's get the technical aspect of the first level out of the way, and to a certain point the final level as well. The main character looks like you would assume Batman looks like. I actually quite like the main sprite. I think it's very, very nice looking and very detailed. The pacing could be perhaps a touch faster, but it fits the game, it suits the game perfectly fine. You have the choice to go for either sound effects or music, and I don't think Matthew Cannon's going to hate me for saying that his sound effects in this game are not particularly epically made. They serve their purpose and that's about it. But I don't think anyone in their right mind would play with sound effects on when they have the music available. And the music more than makes up for any potential shortcomings of the sound effects. And it is definitely recommended to enjoy this game with the music, because the music is of a very, very high quality and has a tone that fits the game and the character extremely well. I fully enjoy the music of this stage and basically all the stages, but coming up to Jack Napier, so let's convert him, shall we? Oops. So, at this point in the film, Vicky Vale, the reporter that's looking into whatever she's looking into, and Batman are trying to get away from the Joker's henchmen, and they do that while he's the one driving. Just that by driving to the Batcave. of course, which is very, very secret and hidden and all that good stuff. And this section is a bit meager, some people have complained about, of course, because of the Amiga version of this level. But graphically, again, I think it is very, very fitting for the game. It really suits the game. I fully enjoy the style. The bumper car effect of a car hitting another car, bouncing back and forth and all that stuff may be slightly annoying. But you know what? This works, and it works well. It may not be, that's up to the individual, as epic as the 16-bit version of the same game, but at the same time, Ocean could easily have screwed up making some not working 3D sequence, or go with this sequence, which maybe for some people is a bit bare-boned, but it works, and it works well. Not exactly super challenging, more frustrating than anything, but it showcases a sequence from the film that makes sense, and as long as you are not pushing too hard to get through the stage, it is not too bad. Again, sound effects are weak and music is epic, so not an awful lot more to say regarding that. The gameplay is perhaps a bit basic in this level, but you know what? I will happily take it. I do enjoy it. So we escaped, and of course Batman now has to analyze the Smarnex gas, which is a nerve gas that will cause everyone to die with a big smile on their face. And the Joker has to spread the gas into 3 household components, so when mixed together they are naughty, naughty, nasty. So you have to work out which components it might be. It's relatively simple and hard to do too much about graphical and all that stuff, but the music can really get your attention up, because of course it's getting more and more urgent sounding as you play through the level. The 4th level, there's this anniversary carnival thing in Gotham City, and the Joker thinks that is an amazing time to provide the city with some balloons, which are all filled with Smarnex gas, and he intends to burst the bubble, so to speak. And yeah, you can imagine that's probably not good for the citizens of Gotham City. So Batman, in an epic display, flies in with his Batwing and catches all the balloons in one fell swoop and releases them into the atmosphere, where they will cause no harm. That has been turned into a side-scrolling cut the balloons section in the Commodore 64 version. And again, some people would argue that the difference between this and the 16-bit version is too big, but again, just as I said concerning the 2nd stage, this works, and it works well. It is by far, in my opinion at least, the most difficult stage, because of the fact that you have to cut balloons for nearly 3 minutes, and part of me feels that it's perhaps 30 seconds too long. But at the same time, if you consider that the first stage is part of the main load, and then you do one load which has stage 2, 3 and 4 in it, and then of course one more load for the final level, I assume that someone thought that people should have a bit of gameplay between those instead of playing for 10 seconds and then loading for 2 minutes. So I can understand why the time was set so the value it was. But it is actually surprisingly easy to screw things up, and the fact that you have to keep going for that amount of time can be somewhat challenging. Or maybe it's just extremely easy, and I just have good and bad days when I play this level. Sometimes I just can't get past it. Again, music is absolutely epic. I really love the music in this game. It's very, very well made. Good composition. The graphics, again, just like on level 2, some people will argue that it's not epic enough and all that stuff, but you know what? it looks believable, and the gameplay as well, and that is what you want. So we get into the final level where, of course, the Joker, realizing that the game is up, tries to escape, and Batman is in hot pursuit, which is basically very, very similar to the first level, except for the fact that you are now in a cathedral instead of in the factory. The aim is to reach the top and confront the Joker. So that gives me some time to talk more about the game in general. It was probably done a bit haphazardly, which I do apologize for, but I only intended to do sort of an overview kind of thing, just like the other videos I'm normally making. But then I realized how short this video actually was. It surprised me that once I got out the loading screens, or the load delays, how fast you can actually beat this game. But something I've been on about before, and it's worth repeating, is it doesn't matter how long a game is as long as you're enjoying the experience. And when it comes to Batman the movie, Ocean surprised me a lot. I think they've surprised an awful lot of people, because this movie design is most likely the best movie design for motion. Opinions depending, of course. I mean, some people will name another game or completely different. By and large, I think a lot of people will definitely look at this game and say, that's not bad, Ocean. Why didn't you do that some more? You have a sense of playing Batman. It looks believable. The platform sections are, for some people, very, very difficult. But it is the same for this game as it is for every other game. You just play it enough and you start getting good at it, and once you start getting good at it, you will make the regular progression, and then you will eventually beat the game. And from my point of view, I don't know whether my point of view is completely and utterly messed up, because I have literally completed this game hundreds of times, if not. Yeah, it's perhaps a bit absurd, but over the years, since I originally bought the game in 1989 for both the Commodore 64 and Amiga, this is a game that I love to take out from time to time and complete. And because, of course, the amount of time it takes to actually complete it, it's not exactly extensive, then I can beat this game, or I can play Candy Crush or whatever it is I might want to play for 15 minutes, and then I may as well play a game that I know well and probably complete blindfolded, but I'm still enjoying. And ultimately, in my opinion, that is what sets great games apart from epic games, because the epic games, even though you've beaten them, you can still enjoy them. And maybe it's just me. I do like, I suppose, speedrunners, they play the same games thousands of times in order to be able to speedrun them correctly, so they better like the games they're playing, or they're going to get very, very sick of what they're doing very, very quickly. But I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the mix of levels, or it's the illusion of playing Batman that appeals to my 12-year-old. I don't know, but I will happily play this game any day. Maybe not every day, that would probably bore me, but regardless, the overall quality of this game is, in my opinion, definitely one of the best games Ocean ever released. Is it the best? That's hard to say, but what it is, or the Commodore 64 for me at least, is the benchmark against which I measure every other game. There are games that was made before and after this which are probably much better games, but this is the game that makes me say, okay, how does it in design, look, feel, and enjoyment compare to Batman? And I'm not going to compare games one-on-one because I mean that's a bit rude, but this is definitely my gaming benchmark for Commodore 64 games. And the fact that it's an Ocean game that I'm using as that benchmark is quite impressive. But we get to confront the Joker who's trying to get away, and we knock him down with our bat rope. And we get to enjoy one of the best jingles in any game, which is the game over jingle in this game. That was a look at Batman. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.